Hello, this is Joe Corneli. I'm sitting in and operating the Peeragogy Handbook account today. We're joined by Dilrukshi from Sri Lanka and Federico from Italy, and perhaps others. I thought I'd start the broadcast so that those who want to watch can tune in like that. Looks like Dorothea is calling in from Berlin. Hello. Hi, Dorothea.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Nice to see you. It's maybe a little slow, but I'm gonna turn it over to Dilrukshi, who's like at 11:30 p.m. wanting to figure out what's going on here and get on with things a bit. So Dilrukshi, tell us a little bit about yourself, and you've got to tell me, do you know A.T. Yaratne?
Okay. Hi. Hi. I'm Dilrukshi from Sri Lanka. I'm a PhD student in my second year,
Okay.
majoring e-learning and human-computer interaction. How I got to know this project is from the Open Knowledge MOOC that I took on Open Ed platform from Stanford University. So that's how I got to know Federico and Julia. So since then, I found something interesting in this group rather than the other MOOCs that I've followed. So here I am.
Cool. Yeah, it's a bit different from other MOOCs. I was curious to know, since you're Sri Lankan, do you know of someone named
Hello,
A.T.
everybody. It's
A.T.
Hi.
Yaratne? Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong.
I'm Julia.
Julia, hold on a second. I've got a question for Dilrukshi. Hi.
Hi. Excuse me.
Yeah, because I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Have you heard of this guy, A.T. Yaratne?
No, you got to
Dilrukshi.
type that name. I
The chat over here. I put it in the chat.
did you? Okay, let's see. I cannot see any name that you typed just now.
Let's try again. But you see the chat. Wait,
Yeah, I do.
maybe on the event page.
Oh,
It's hard for me to paste. But anyway, hello. It sounds like we've got Fabrizio there.
Yeah,
Whoa, Fabrizio.
Cool avatar. Um,
here Ratna. Wow, it's in Sri Lanka. Okay.
yeah, but here's the
Um,
wiki page.
um, I don't know. Perhaps somebody famous.
He
Perhaps.
is, let me see if I can read you about his webpage. One of the inspirations for the Peeragogy, he is the founder and president of Sarvodaya Shramandana movement in Sri Lanka. And he's written some very interesting things about co-organizing, not so much like co-learning, but um, yeah. So although I can't pronounce his name maybe very well, he's one of the people who inspired me some time ago when I was first thinking about it. Let me see if I can read you about his webpage. One of the inspirations for the Pure Julie, I wonder if we have the same thing going on as we did last time, where there's the video going in the background.
Oh yeah, I can hear something. Yeah, now I see his Wikipedia. It sounds interesting. That it's a shame that I didn't know this.
Oh, you learn something new every day. Maybe you have a better chance to get to know what's going on there in person. There's some other they have another branch I think in Nepal. We were speaking with someone in Nepal, and I tried to get them in touch, but I don't know what's happened to her. Um, so Julia, hello, welcome back, Julia. I think you have got to close the tab again with your video.
It's a shame that I didn't know this.
Oh, you learn something new every day. Maybe you have a better chance to get to know what's going on there in person. So Fabrizio has disappeared now.
Okay, I got an echo from the past, I guess.
Yeah.
Let me unmute the mic and then it's chance for Julia, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Julia, hi. I hope you've got your other window closed. So, Fabrizio, are you there? Yeah, it's the same echo from last time, Julia. Okay. So, um, so it seems like there's like a couple of different initiatives. Fabrizio, are you there? I don't know if you have audio because we don't hear you. Wait a second. Oh, there we hear you. Fabrizio? Hmm. Okay. So, yeah, one of the four of you, maybe Federico, Fabrizio, Julia,
Yeah.
or Dilrukshi, could say a bit more about because you've been organizing something. So there's basically two threads. There's this theme of finishing the handbook, which I feel incredibly bad that I haven't done that. Just the typesetting part yet, but I've been bogged down with work. So there's that, and then you've been organizing some other project around classes or running some kind of courses. And Fabrizio, maybe you would comment on that, or Federico, or Julia,
I'm
anyone?
here. I'm here.
Yeah. So what are you organizing? That's good. I can hear you now.
Well, is there Federico somewhere?
He's there, but he's being quiet.
Oh, hi, Federico.
I
So I'm sorry about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was talking to with Federico about creating a MOOC about peer-to-peer collaboration and some other projects that we can do. So, but my English today, I'm so tired that I cannot even speak. But can you explain them what we were talking about, Federico, please?
uh, yes. The what we thought was that we have together many skills and very good backgrounds, and we could put all this together and collaborate together and try to make something concrete. Uh, there was the Google Docs of the last days created by Fabrizio about the meeting for today, and I was answering to some questions and putting some questions me as well. So for me today, a good goal would be to understand together what a curriculum for pedagogy should look like, and what kind of infrastructure would we use if we want to make it concrete. This is
Good,
just
good
going to
question. Yeah, so that's related to another question that some of the people who'd been around in the past who've come and gone were asking about a kind of dashboard. So if you were just joining or just coming back, how would you find out the current state of events? That was a related question to uh, the what kind of infrastructure. But again, so you've made a nice dashboard for for this uh, this conversation. Maybe we can have one that's moving. But yeah, I think so. I see something in here about grants. Hello, Paula, welcome.
Oh, hi, Paula.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. Tired.
So we were just looking there. Federico is starting to explain this idea of designing a MOOC, and that's also, I guess, related as well to this question we've been asking, and we've got a pretty soon deadline. The policy here reminds me. It's like, what are we talking about in terms of the Wikimania submission? But maybe we can think about this MOOC as being something. So yeah, Federico, what do you think? Like, what are the technology requirements? What are the personnel requirements? How would you go about it, or how are you going about it? What do you think?
Uh, what I wrote was for the infrastructure there are, I think, two options. One is very easy and would be something like Moodle. Myself, I have also my website Moodle. Julia has it, so it's just by, let's say, 10,000 US dollars per year. Then you can have a Moodle staff working with, and you can build there whatever you like in terms of courses, participants, and activities. Otherwise, there are other platforms. One very interesting is Hub Zero. Now I will the
Hello.
website for you.
I see it down here at the bottom of this doc, which I just pasted the link. Yeah, there.
And it is for scientific collaboration as well, and I'm very, very curious about it because I think the next step in the Web 3.0 is if you want to make education, you have also to be aware of researching because innovation is moving so fast in the field of innovation, of education, sorry. And about the curriculum, I think it should start from the core idea of virtual communities and of what peeragogy is. So from the handbook itself, and then I think that each of the people who want to be involved, they could get their perspective on it. And,
Sure, and as we can see with the worldwide kind of, worldwide audience, sorry, there's sort of a, we could probably recruit people, even if it's a matter of putting up flyers all over, we could put up flyers. So, but that's one of my questions is, it's all well and good for us to build something and create a staff and create a curriculum, but unless we have people who are signing up,
yeah.
there's not going to be a whole lot happening. I mean, nothing really new. Or if it's just the same people as before signing up.
Yeah. On this, my opinion is the frustration of being a MOOC student, where you can take a class for free, but it's up to you and up to the other people to get to some results, some concrete results. Otherwise, it's just pushing buttons together with other 10,000, 100,000 people. And for me, this is not education, it's not learning, but it's just following instructions.
I agree.
So I'm a bit frustrated about this, and I think there are thousands of people that they go on Coursera or where else, and they say, well, I would pay something, but I would like to have a very high level and innovative way of learning. And that would be pedagogy. So for a very small for a small fee, I think we could create some courses based on pedagogy, philosophy, so whatever, math, sociology, anthropology, history, or what else, but with small classes, like 30 people, and then there is the somebody who is a sort of moderator, a tutor, which follows these people and teach them also about how to learn from peer to peer. So to get the result, you have a community. This would really change things in education, because what the big universities are doing now with MOOCs is it's just like turning a doc paper to a PDF. But a PDF can have hyperlinks, can be shared in a different way, is much stable and is something different. I mean, they have a static idea of education still, even if they're using the web.
So I got it. So maybe we're making something more like not a doc to a PDF, but we want a doc to a wiki or something like that. But maybe
Yeah.
we should turn it up. Maybe we should turn it over to some of the other people who are there. I know we've got Lisa and Paola and Dorothea have been in the project for a long time, and then we've got some new people who could comment as well. So I'd really love to ask Paola, because she works at a university there as well. Maybe you could give the opinion about classes. Is this something that you think we can do? I also put in the chat this little figure. If our goal was to make a $10,000 budget, we could get that different ways, like 10 times 1,000, or 1,000 times 10, or 100 times 100 works the same way. So I don't know about charging, and what do you think about that? Well, there's lots of different questions there.
Well, I think you're right. There are lots of different questions, and I think these need to be thought collectively. I'm not sure if I can be involved really in a MOOC, because I have a lot of work, and I don't know if I can be committed to do that, because I think it's a huge responsibility. But of course I can help, and I think that our purpose at the beginning was to give tools and to discuss with a wider audience the things that we are involved in. I mean, pedagogy process and everything. So we need to have very clearly stated what is the purpose of the MOOC. If we are going to follow on structure, what it should be. Are there going to be contents? Because our way of working has not, well, we have not worked in that way. I mean, we have worked always in a pretty much unstructured environment, and the goals have been set like on the road. We didn't have like a previous or an established goal at the beginning. So this is something different that we haven't done yet. So
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah,
I
I
think
agree
it's
with you.
important. I think it's important to just be clear
Yeah,
of how
I'd
would
like
this be different.
right, and I would like to imagine maybe it could be something else additional. So like, we could just keep the level of commitment as it is, once a week meet. If there were 10,000 people, maybe they wouldn't all join the hangout, but they could watch it or whatever, and they could have their own hangouts as well. So, maybe it wouldn't involve too much more commitment, but just some more promotion, which was something else we were thinking about. Lisa, maybe would you mind taking the hot seat for a second? Because I know you've been thinking a lot about Peeragogy and kind of what is it that we're offering to the world, maybe especially to people in business or whatever. But do you think that some of the people that you've been thinking about, maybe some of the ones you know or some of the ones you imagine, would they want to sign up for a course? Would that feel more comfortable, or would they want to sign up for this kind of hangout, or what would be the what would be the what would be the pitch, I guess, if we were to put you in charge of that right now? I mean, the practice pitch, I guess.
Yeah. And actually, so a lot of new people are on board
today, so I just want to give them the background. My interest is in this mostly as it applies to business. So I don't really come at this too much from an academic background, so to speak. So that's kind of my perspective, and my approach might seem a little different a lot of times. So I think this also comes down to a couple things and that I've kind of been struggling with, and that's how we approach peeragogy. We can teach people peeragogy, but I think that's a very, very, very small group of people. I think realistically it's probably better if, I don't know if it's probably better, but it might be better if we think of peeragogy as teaching people who are currently doing work a certain way, teaching them a new tool. So it would be like subject matter. I think it was mentioned different subjects. Federico mentioned a number of different subjects. Instead of trying to say we're teaching peeragogy, we would be bringing into the group something that they're already trying to do, and saying we have a tool that might be useful for you to get the results you're looking for. Because
that's a really cool idea. That way they could kind of bring their own, as you were talking about before, kind of the sense of a goal or an endpoint. They could bring their own endpoint. They could say, you know, my goal is to, I don't know, start a neighborhood association or start a nonprofit. That's one I've thought about, or start a business or do something. And we'd say, okay, well, here's how we would apply the peeragogy strategies to that. Yeah, I think that could be an easier thing to sell than just to say that. But then that does lend itself to kind of small group tutorials rather than a big MOOC. Like, you know, you might say, okay, here's the 3 or 4 people who are interested in that, and we could meet with them individually rather than just open it up for 10,000 people.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. That's where I kind of go back and forth a little bit. Is that when we start because our interest is peeragogy, we start out with peeragogy, but nobody knows what it is or how it fits. Whereas if you know what somebody's got a problem or an issue or something they're trying to figure out, peeragogy provides to them a way of thinking about approaching the problem that they may find very useful. And that's why I go back and forth between.
Okay.
And then Paula mentioned something interesting, which was the struggle between the structured and the unstructured. And I thought that was really interesting too, because when this is applied, the way we use this group is very unstructured. But the exercise itself may be useful for us in wanting to understand the application of peeragogy, because as it's applied, typically it gets applied in a much more structured sense. Now, you know, if it's a business, it might be more structured. If it's education, the level of structure might vary. And if it's a neighborhood program, it may be very unstructured. But how we may not have, as a group, worked through implementing peeragogy with different levels of structured requirements, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Well, so maybe we should turn it over to some of the new folks. I guess you've been listening to this feedback. Julia or Dilrakshi, do you want to comment on what you've just heard? I mean, because the outlook of a MOOC is interesting, but is any of what we've been saying clarifying that or changing your perspectives on that idea? Especially because I have no experience with MOOCs at all. I've never taken one. I mean, I tried once, but I didn't like it, so I quit. Anyone else want to comment on what they've done?
For me, we have to focus on the value proposition. For example, why would anybody should be thinking of peeragogy? You know, some sort of a benefits showing things. So that, you know, what we call the value propositions, like if you take peeragogy, you'll be able to, you know, enhance your 21st century skills, so, you know, problem solving skills, because it's so unstructured, and then you will have much more interactivity rather than the MOOCs that you have already followed. For example, for me, I think I have taken more than 20 courses, and everything is much more or the same. You know, you just watch a video and then you do a quiz. Sometimes time to time you just go on the forums, but there's no connectivity, or there's no, you know, just like I got to know everybody here, there's no connectivity in the XMOOC. So
Sure, I understand. Yeah, Yeah.
So I
So and
can bring something.
so I think if I can hear what you're saying, it's like if we thought of our audience as being people who already take MOOCs, they might say we would love to have this just because it's a chance to socialize and like because it's a chance to learn something new and talk about what could work better. And that might change their approach to the whole to doing the MOOC. It might change their approach to what their learning material is. I mean, just imagine someone as they're trying to learn calculus or something, and they could form a study group with other people who want to learn that. I mean, they might do that in the course. I know sometimes that happens, but they might not. And so, or they may be interested in calculus, but actually it turns out they're interested in calculus for some other specific reason, and that could be developed more in this kind of forum. So, um, well, you're a good asset if you've taken 20 MOOCs. That's a lot. That's way more patience than I have.
It is to test the platforms. Like I have taken NovoEd and the Iversity, Coursera, edX, and Coursite. What else? Yeah, the open learn platforms, and yeah. So each platform has different facilities. So far, the NovoEd platform provides the best project-based learning environment where we work with the students as a community or a group, where
Okay.
we don't have any other platform facilitating like that.
What, could you type that one in the chat? Because that sounds interesting, but I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah,
I've not heard of it before.
you should try it. It's a Stanford initiative called Venture Lab. Now they have called themselves Novo Ed. Novo.
Novo something? Oh, Novo Ed. Okay.
Oh, okay. I have seen that, but I'm sorry, but I'm a Moodle fanatic. Because I have begun with the first version, and I have been working with it and changing versions, and so I think that it's really fantastic. Now, new versions has, for example, it has some tool for to do gamification, even if it is for just for small courses or for many people. The other thing is that I think that. That we now we're doing a peer-to-peer collaboration, and we want to do something together. And the thing is that what we want to do is to learn and to teach how to work in this way. And perhaps we can structure a course and then decide where we can sell it or whatever. It could be a MOOC, or can be a course for universities, or I mean, I have many ideas, and I'm for sure you do have it. But
I like that idea. In fact, yeah, and that we could sort of yeah, that's a great idea. Or kind of pursue them together. Dorothea, I don't know if you'd like to comment on the Peeragogy Labs idea, but like that's part of what sounds like we're talking about is building certain things, trying them, see if they work. And I know that's something that you've been thinking about in the past too.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
yeah, hi.
I think it's in general it's a nice area to experiment, and probably we should take a closer look at that. But yeah, I'm still not yet that familiar to say anything in detail. But in general, I like the idea of experimenting, so I'm listening to what you're saying.
And I think that's I mean, that itself is one of the best insights from the Peeragogy Lab is just like, we don't have to invest all of our time and energy in some big project and like see if it finally works, and then if it doesn't, it's all over. Like, better to take that same amount of energy and break it up into smaller things and test things out like that. So Julia, if you have lots of ideas, that's good. You should try to share them, and we should try to think about maybe make a spreadsheet or a table or something and say like, what would it take, what would be the minimum viable project or whatever for us to try something and learn from something that way. I think that's one of our patterns in the handbook. So, you know, if it's like run a course, if we want to try to run a course with at max 30 people, let's see if we can find one person and teach them in a tutorial or something like that. But I think actually that I shouldn't be too pessimistic because we have already 3 new people from 2 weeks ago. So I think it is possible to find people. And usually we don't usually even have this many people in the meeting. Hi Charlotte, how are you doing by the way?
Oh, good, good. I'm sorry. I had an account. My accountant came by, and I felt like I should give her the time of day.
Good idea.
But were you talking about, Julia? Were you talking about getting a class going or a course of some kind? I just joined.
Yes, I'm talking about create a course. I mean, to a lab, you know, between us, each one with its skill, and to see how come it. How? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so tired. My English is just awful.
You can switch to whatever other language. I think you'll find that there's at least 1 or 2 other people here will understand any language you can speak in right now.
Yeah.
English isn't really necessary.
I speak some other language. It's just let me say what I begin again. Okay. My idea is to structure a course about how to do peer-to-peer collaboration. And each one of us can do something in the creation of this course, okay? And we can use different platform, and we can study the platform. We are not in a hurry, but I think that we must go on and on in this way. We are having a nice group with a lot of skills and different, and that's a good thing too. So that's it. I mean, define what peer-to-peer collaboration is, and to search the methodology to teach it and design the course. And there are so many things to do.
So I like that. I think I might make one suggestion, which would be, why don't we try that? Yes, for sure. And you know, push ourselves to try at least one other thing together, because of course the question could be, do we teach the peer-to-peer collaboration, or do we just use the peer-to-peer collaboration in order to teach something else?
Yeah.
So we could,
yeah.
or sort of a blend. But I think what we did with the Flock Society stuff in Ecuador, well, we didn't get very far with them, but they were doing some very interesting things there, and we sure tried to help as much as we could. So we could revisit some of those other things, like not necessarily peer-to-peer collaboration, but you know, peer economy, or you know, it's some close related things, but where it's a little bit outside of the sociology, for example, something like that. I mean, that wouldn't have to be all the super meta.
I would like to also revisit, maybe in one of these sessions, revisit our pilot projects, of which I have one, and because I'd like to see it used in the real world as well as in, you know, in just a learning environment, but carried out in some kind of peer production or, you know, work professional environment.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so I think, again, one of our skills is that each of us could think of our own applications. That was kind of the idea with this accelerator. And it might be even possible just to stretch our brains to think of 2. Think of one that you'd like to do, and then one you'd like to teach or something. So I see Charlotte there is teaching. Can you teach knitting in a Peeragogy way? I don't know. Possibly. And again, you know, like we were thinking about the university setting, is like you can teach students, but you could also have an organization for teaching teachers, and we have been in touch with these different people who do teacher training. And Dilrakshi, maybe tell me a little again about your PhD research. What are you working on again?
It's more. It's to improve the effectiveness of e-learning. I argue that e-learning so far is not so effective because we all just follow the instructions and we don't make much of the use of the networks that we have around us.
Yeah.
So I would want to make an artifact, for example, say a different platform where we can, where we can visually see what's happening between us. For example, I learn something, and if my peers want to learn what I learn in the physical environment, I would always do a class in the campus, set aside and just give a tutor 101 or one-to-many tutoring. But in the real world, online situations is completely different. You just take a course and then sometimes you just add on the forums, and then it's more like passive. So how can we make much more engaging and make active learning, to enhance what we learn?
Yeah, that sounds
Well,
good. I mean, I just finished recently a PhD where I also did a lot of software building, and I'm at the other end of it, I guess, where having built a lot of software, I'm very sad that there are not that many people using it, and it needs to be maintained, and that's a lot of work and stuff like that. So I think I don't want to dissuade you from the optimism because I share the same vision, but I also think there's all these other phases to make it work. So you can build a great tool, but then how do you maintain it? And I'm not trying to be discouraging. I'm trying to be encouraging, but maybe
yeah, I
also
understand.
realistic.
In fact, I had a background read of yours. You just do the mathematics, right?
Sure. Well, yeah. Then I started with this, which is like general purpose. So it's a bit of both. Yeah. The PhD was more about the mathematics case.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So Federico, I guess we were giving feedback on your proposal. Maybe we should turn it over to you. We've got about 15 more minutes till the end of the hour. Would you like to just give feedback? Maybe you could ask some questions because I've been kind of doing the facilitation, but I think I could step back and rest my vocal cords for a little bit and let you feedback, and everyone, so you could ask them specific questions based on what they've said. I think everyone's had a chance to say something, but hopefully it's useful. Are you up for that?
Yeah, I have a proposal which is a bit, let's say, an ice-breaking proposal by saying that if we are to create a course about peeragogy and the methods of peeragogy, we should build it together from the scratch. So what I would propose is to create a community of practice with the people involved here, and other can join, and working on like a wiki or discussing on a forum, and putting everybody what has to give to this community, and start to scratch what the course should be like. And in this way we can inspire each other, and we turn each point of view to something which resembles more an object which is more objective, which is valuable for everybody, instead of many different perspectives. And also in this way we start also to learn the strategies of peer education, learning together with peers.
So I would give a feedback to say we've tried that at least once or twice before. We had this first wiki. Howard set up the wiki when we first started the project. Then we grew frustrated with that, the limitations of that, and then we started using Google Plus. And we've always used the handbook as that. But I'm not trying to discourage that, because actually I think starting from scratch in a new space, not
and
necessarily stopping that, but okay.
There was the Commons Abundance Joe? Joe?
Yeah, I'm trying to take notes on what you're saying. Yes, yes, yes. I remember that.
Yeah, we have that wiki type forum on the Commons Abundance site, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was also something that people just didn't. I mean, the Google Plus community is probably the most active of all those things that we had, except for Howard's forum.
Yep.
And
let me tell you, like wiki pages, for example, in human-computer interaction perspective, it's not so user-friendly. It's we have so many platforms and so many websites that it gives the idea at the first sight. But wiki pages, you have to go on, and it takes a lot of effort for us to read the materials inside to figure out what's going on inside. But we have much more visualized tools that that reduce our time to read, or else it's much more effective, if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like if I think about how much time it takes me to read the newspaper, I just log in, or I don't even log in. I read the Guardian. I give about 5 seconds to an article or something, unless it's really interesting, in which case then I'll read it. But usually I like skim it, and like if this community was really active, we would have something like a newspaper, and people would not be reading it with a lot of attention. They'd be reading it like that. They'd be flipping through, trying this, trying that, and they'd say, okay, what's it like in Sri Lanka today? Oh, that's kind of interesting. Well, I'm going to go read about Italy now, so this kind of stuff.
One thing we could do is, since everybody, at least the people on here, are on Google Plus, we could restructure that community so that because it has a bunch of things that relate to the handbook more. And we have 900 people on there or more.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we could recategorize it without losing our content, and put either the geographic areas, or probably more relevant would be the areas of interest and expertise.
Yep. True.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then periodically we have put links there to things like Commons Abundance and other platforms that people are using, which is okay. I mean, it's good to. I think it's good to keep those fresh ideas coming. So, but and it also relates to where people are currently practicing their trade. I do a lot on Google Plus, but someone else might do more on a wiki. So just kind of like have a common lobby or gathering area on the Google Plus site. I don't know. That's one idea.
That's a sensible one. But I do think, yeah, so this issue of starting from scratch, I think we should probably try to find a way to do both, because I think another sort of mistake last year was we thought, okay, we're going to just put aside the handbook and only focus on the accelerator, and it seems like we're maybe poised to do the same thing this year. Put aside the handbook and only focus on building a course. And I don't think that would be quite right, because I think that the handbook, I don't think we can start from scratch at this point, really. We could start with a blank piece of paper, but I think that the activity and interest on the handbook may still continue. I think for me, the big problem actually would be the sense that I'm a bottleneck in the production of the handbook. I don't like that. I'd like to teach other people how to replace me as the technical guy. That doesn't mean that I drop out of the project. It just means that I would share my skills so that I was no longer a bottleneck. And I think, there's some of that has gone on. Charlotte, you taught us how to do these Hangouts, so it's like if you're busy, then someone else can start the hangout. And like there was a time when we were completely incapable of doing that. Now,
it happened. It did, yeah. So, but I think if maybe we could just set that up as a specific test case, and you can set up a session where we come and you teach us how to do the WordPress or the.
Yeah, but I think what Federico is saying, he said in the chat, you know, he started a learning community, FioreUnimore.it, about to reach 1,000 users and creating a new community of practice every month, great successes, and basically all done by himself. So he's probably thinking, well, if we did this something a bit similar as a team, you know,
Yeah.
Yes,
we could be even
that's
more
the
successful.
idea.
And I totally agree with you. So I think in that sense it is something like starting
Yeah.
from scratch, you know, and maybe starting from scratch, not just using Google Plus, but like what would we, you know, if we were going to build something really great, would we build another tool? Would we set up a Moodle? I don't know. Would we use my Drupal website? It's a little bit not clear. Yeah, but I don't think we should. I think we should probably do both. I think the first rule of improv is to say and. So let's keep going. I like the idea of refactoring the Google Plus to make it more usable.
Yeah. And then, and I don't see why, with more engagement like this, like we've been getting lately for some reason, and I'm just thrilled that it's global, you know, it's diverse, but I don't see why we couldn't be working on a MOOC and a handbook at the same time.
Yeah.
And the pilot project, and, you know, and that all informs the handbook and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that the main thing now is to apply our collaboration skills, and this is something I was reminded of from Dorothea's Google post about nonviolent communication. Is like, you know, we need to kind of say like, well, you know, if you say, Federico, your icon there is shouting, it's like, hey, I need some help here. Like, what are the things you would need from us to help, and like, what are the things you would want to show us to just like demonstrate what you're working on. So that goes for everyone here. Is like, you know, what are the top priorities? Where's a good place to share those? Because like, yeah, we've tried a million different things. Sometimes they get lost. You know, someone's priority is to try new technology, and then someone else says, okay, I don't want to because we've got too many different technologies. And sometimes someone's priority is to spread lots of ideas to the mailing list, and people are exhausted because we've already read too many different things. So we need to think a bit more about our specific collaboration styles amongst ourselves. But if we have people who are saying, look, I'm working on this specific project, here's how it fits together, like the puzzle pieces from Lisa's video about the people doing things like a group, and maybe we can make some progress. So, well, that's a good summing up comment for me. I guess I'm getting tired. Anyone else have any other closing remarks they want to say before we sign off?
Me. No. I was trying to, well, no, I'm reading the handbook you have made last year, and it's really a good work. But I apologize. Pardon me, but I think that it should be. How to say it? I mean, it's too long, and sometimes you have to think that we are people that really understand about this matter, but most of the people don't understand about this. So I think that we can work a little bit and make it more
accessible,
easy to read and perhaps to translate it into other language, because the big majority of people in this world speak only one language, and I think that Spanish could be a great idea to.
So we've tried it. Maybe we should try it again. I think so. There's two comments. One is I don't know if you're looking at the version of the book which has a workbook at the start, but other people have said the same thing you said about make something shorter, easy to understand. So we started. The book is still long, but we started with a much shorter, like 20 or 30 page thing that just kind of sums it all up. So that's in the more version.
I didn't know.
Send you the PDF for the more recent version, which we're still working on. And then as for the translations, yes, We agree with you. Should happen, but we need someone who is multilingual, and there are some people here who can do that. I'm not one of them.
I can work with Spanish a little bit. I mean, I'm a Spanish native language. Uh, but yeah, I think perhaps I can translate it to Spanish and perhaps find other Spanish peoples that can work together. I mean, I don't
And
know.
Julia,
it is,
Julia, oh,
Oh, Paula, yeah.
I'm a Spanish speaker, a native Spanish speaker. Well,
and
I've been trying to translate the handbook. I have the first version was almost completely translated, but then came the second version, and I couldn't translate it. But I have a lot of material that can be reused to update the translation to the latest version. But of course, I haven't been able to translate it. Because it was like a lot of work, and I have a lot of work. But if you and I can do it together, that would be great. And I can share with you. There's a lot of material. Well, there is a lot of material in Google Drive, I think. There are all the chapters that were translated from the version 1, and we can just update the new translations and the new structure to have the latest version.
Yeah, I think that we can begin with the latest version, the shorter one, I think, and we can meet any time in the week. When if I see you in Google, I'll give you a touch or a
Yeah.
call, and
Yeah,
you can do it too.
Yeah, we need only to have the latest version done because we are working now on the latest version of the handbook, that is version 3, and also we are like making the latest like corrections to the workbook.
Uh-huh.
We have not done that yet.
Okay, we can do something about Paula, and just get in touch, the two of us.
Yeah, and just a quick thought is that if we do get even a version of the workbook, I love that idea of the workbook. That was probably one of the motivations. Is it's a bit easier.
yeah.
You could send that down to Michelle Bowens and the Flock people and say, okay, I know that project's over, but you probably know some other Spanish speakers. There was this Xavier. Do you remember that? I'm sorry, pronounce him wrong. But that guy, send it to him maybe.
The other thing is, it is public domain, so if somebody wants to translate it and publish a print version to sell, if that's a motivation, that's certainly totally permissible. You know, it's free for the taking.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. And so the Spanish version really could be your new job. You could have just found yourself a new job selling Spanish language pedagogy handbooks. Could be possible. There's probably an Amazon.es maybe. I don't know. I hope so. Anyway, we gotta close this session because it's been an hour and gosh, there's a lot of work to do. But yeah, Lisa, you're saying we got to catch up about the handbook. I really would like to do that, and I told Charlie I would have a call with him on next Saturday, but I need to keep on track during the week. Little changes. I mean, it's really minor stuff, and I think everyone's contributed a lot of things. So I think the next one will be beta, and then we should probably just say, look, it's getting ready. So, yeah.
Call me in on that if you need help. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's for me. It's just I will look, but I think a lot of it's just the technical things. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to stop the broadcast, and someone who has a great computer should save the chat. I'm not sure I have it. I'm going to stop the broadcast now, though. Bye.
Let's see this.